You've looked in a mirror 10,000 times. You've brushed your teeth, fixed your hair, checked your outfit. You know what a mirror does. It shows you yourself. Simple, obvious, nothing to explain. But here's something you've probably never stopped to think about. When you raise your right hand, your reflection raises its left hand. When you hold up a book, the words appear backwards. The mirror reverses things. Left becomes right. Right becomes left. Everyone knows this. Everyone accepts it. It's just what mirrors do. Now let me ask you something. Why does the mirror reverse left and right, but not up and down? Your head doesn't appear where your feet should be. The ceiling in the reflection is still at the top. The floor is still at the bottom. Up stays up, down stays down. But left and right get flipped. Why? What's special about the horizontal axis? What makes left and right different from up and down? Go ahead, try to answer. I'll wait. If you're like most people, you're suddenly uncomfortable. You thought you understood mirrors. You've used them your whole life. But now you're realizing you can't actually explain this basic thing they do. You know that mirrors reverse left and right. You've never questioned it. But you have no idea why they don't reverse up and down at the same time. This is the trap. This is where everyone gets stuck. And here's what I'm going to tell you. That's going to frustrate you before it enlightens you. The question itself is broken. You're asking why mirrors do something they don't actually do. And until you see that, until you understand why your question makes no sense, every answer anyone gives you is going to feel wrong. Because you're trying to solve a mystery that doesn't exist. The mystery is in your head, not in the mirror. Let me show you what I mean. Ask people why mirrors reverse left and right, and you'll get a handful of answers. All of them wrong. First answer, it's because our eyes are side by side horizontally. Sounds reasonable. Maybe the way our eyes are arranged makes us perceive horizontal flips differently than vertical ones. But think about it for 2 seconds. Close one eye, look in the mirror, still reversed. Tilt your head sideways so your eyes are now vertical. Still reversed. Your eye arrangement has nothing to do with it. That explanation is dead. Second answer, it's just how light reflects off surfaces. Okay, this one feels more scientific. Light bounces off the mirror. Something about that bouncing must cause the reversal. But here's the problem. Light doesn't know what left and right are. Light doesn't know what horizontal means. Photons bounce off that silvered glass according to one simple rule. Angle in equals angle out. That rule doesn't mention directions. It doesn't care about your left hand or your right hand. The law of reflection is perfectly symmetrical. So why would it flip one axis and not the other? It wouldn't. It doesn't. This explanation fails too. Third answer, that's just what mirrors do. This isn't an answer. This is giving up. You're labeling the phenomenon and calling it an explanation. That's like asking why things fall and saying because of gravity. You've just renamed the mystery. You haven't solved anything. And here's what should be bothering you right now. None of these explanations work. The eye theory fails. The light theory fails. And that's just how it is. Isn't a theory at all. So either mirrors are doing something deeply mysterious that physics can't explain, or we're missing something obvious, something right in front of our faces, literally, and we are missing something big. The reason none of these explanations work is because they're all trying to answer the wrong question. They're trying to explain why mirrors reverse left and right. But mirrors don't reverse left and right. That's not what's happening. That's not what's ever been happening. You've been fooled your entire life by your own brain. Let's do something. Stand in front of a mirror right now. If you can't, picture it clearly in your mind. You're facing the mirror. Raise your right hand. Your reflection raises its left hand. See? The mirror reverses left and right. Obvious. Now try this. Lie down on your side on the floor so your body is horizontal. Your head is to the left, your feet to the right. Now look at the mirror on the wall. What do you see? Your reflection's head is still on the same side as your head. Feet still match feet. But now something strange is happening. The reflection seems to be upside down relative to how you feel. What was up and down now seems reversed. Wait, what just happened? Did the mirror suddenly start reversing up and down instead of left and right? Did the physics change? Did the glass do something different? No. The mirror did exactly what it always does. You're the one who moved. You changed your orientation relative to the mirror, and suddenly your perception of what's being reversed changed too. The mirror didn't care that you lay down. It kept doing its thing. The same thing it was doing before. The same thing it's always done. Here's another one. Stand facing a mirror normally. Point to your right. Your reflection points to its left. Reversal, right? Now turn around and face away from the mirror. Look over your shoulder at your reflection. Point to your right again. Your reflection is also pointing to its right. The reversal is gone, but you're looking at the same mirror, same glass, same physics, same light bouncing the same way. So what changed? Only your relationship to the mirror. Only how you're facing it. Only your frame of reference. The mirror is doing one consistent thing, and you keep interpreting it differently depending on how you stand. That should tell you something important. The reversal isn't a property of the mirror. It's a property of your interpretation. You're not observing a physical flip. You're creating a mental one. The mirror is doing something specific and consistent. One thing, the same thing every time. And once you see what that thing actually is, this whole mystery dissolves. Here's the truth that's going to make everything click. Mirrors don't reverse left and right. They never have. What mirrors actually do is reverse front and back. That's it. That's the whole thing. When you stand facing a mirror, your nose points toward the glass. In the reflection, your nose points back toward you. Your face, which was facing forward, is now facing backward. The mirror takes everything and flips it along the axis perpendicular to its surface. Front becomes back. Back becomes front. Think about this carefully. When you face a mirror, what direction does your chest face? Toward the mirror. What direction does your reflection's chest face? Toward you, away from the mirror. Front and back, swapped. Now here's the critical part. What about your left hand? In real life, your left hand is on the east side of your body, let's say. In the reflection, that hand is still on the east side. It hasn't moved to the west. Left is still left. Right is still right. The mirror hasn't touched the horizontal axis at all. Same with up and down. Your head is at the top of your body. In the reflection, your head is still at the top. Your feet are at the bottom in both cases. The mirror didn't flip the vertical axis either. The only thing the mirror flipped is the axis going into and out of the mirror, the depth axis, the front-back axis. Your nose was pointing north toward the glass. Now it's pointing south toward you. That's the only reversal that actually happened. So why do we perceive it as a left-right reversal? Why does everyone describe it that way? Because when you look at your reflection, your brain doesn't think about front and back. Your brain sees a human figure facing you and instinctively asks, how would a real person have to position themselves to look like that? And the answer your brain comes up with is that they'd have to turn around, rotate 180 degrees, face the opposite direction. And when you turn around, your left and right swap sides. But that's not what the mirror did. That's what your brain imagines a person doing. The mirror didn't rotate anything. It reflected. It flipped front to back. Your brain added the rotation. Your brain created the left-right reversal that doesn't exist. So if mirrors only flip front and back, why does everyone experience it as a left-right reversal? Why is that the universal description? Why do we all see something that isn't happening? Because your brain is lying to you. Not maliciously, not randomly. Your brain is doing exactly what it evolved to do, making sense of the world as fast as possible using shortcuts and assumptions. And in this case, those shortcuts lead you straight into an illusion. Here's what happens. You look in a mirror. You see a human figure facing you. Instantly, without any conscious thought, your brain asks a question. How would a real person have to position themselves to look like that? This is automatic. You've been recognizing human bodies and their orientations since you were an infant. Your brain has deep, hardwired systems for understanding how bodies work in space. And the answer your brain generates is, that person would have to turn around. They'd have to rotate 180 degrees to face me. That's how humans normally come to face each other. You turn around, you rotate. But here's the thing. When you rotate 180 degrees, your left and right side swap position relative to someone facing you. Your left hand, which was on the east side, is now on the west side from their perspective. Rotation swaps left and right. That's just geometry. So your brain sees the reflection, imagines a rotation, and concludes that left and right have been swapped. Mystery solved. Except the mirror didn't rotate anything. The mirror reflected. Those are completely different operations. Rotation spins you around an axis running up and down through your body. Reflection flips you through a plane, the plane of the mirror itself. Different transformations, different results. Your brain took a reflection and interpreted it as a rotation, and then got confused by the consequences of the rotation it imagined. The left-right reversal doesn't exist in the mirror. It exists in your mental model of what the mirror is doing. You're not confused about physics. You're confused about your own confusion. The mirror is showing you exactly what's there, front flip to back. Your brain is the one adding a rotation that never happened and then wondering why left and right got swapped in the process. The reversal is in your head. It always was. Step back for a moment. This isn't really about mirrors. Mirrors are just the example. The lesson is much bigger. You don't see the world as it is. You never have. What you see is a model, a simulation your brain constructs from incomplete sensory data. Light hits your retinas. Pressure hits your skin. Vibrations hit your eardrums. And your brain takes all that raw input and builds a story, a coherent picture of reality that's useful for survival. But useful and accurate are not the same thing. Your brain isn't optimized for truth. It's optimized for speed, for efficiency, for not getting eaten by predators. So it takes shortcuts. It fills in gaps with assumptions. It applies patterns from past experience, even when those patterns don't fit. Most of the time, this works beautifully. You navigate the world without thinking about it. You catch balls, recognize faces, avoid obstacles, all running on automatic. But sometimes the shortcuts fail. Sometimes your brain applies a pattern that doesn't belong, asks a question that doesn't make sense, and generates an answer that creates confusion instead of resolving it. The mirror situation is a perfect example. Your brain saw a reflection and automatically applied the "how would a person stand like that" pattern. It generated they'd rotate, computed the consequences of rotation, and landed on left and right or reversed. Every step made sense, and the conclusion was completely wrong. This happens constantly, not just with mirrors. Optical illusions exploit these same shortcuts. So do magic tricks. So do countless cognitive biases that psychologists have documented. Your brain is a prediction machine running on assumptions. And when the assumptions don't match reality, you experience confusion, mystery, paradox. But the mystery isn't in the world. It's in the gap between reality and your model of reality. The mirror didn't do anything strange. Your brain asked a broken question and got a broken answer. And you walked around your whole life thinking mirrors were mysterious when the only mystery was your own cognition failing to see its own blind spots. This is how physics works. This is what the whole enterprise is about. Not memorizing formulas, not accepting what you're told. It's about finding the places where your intuition breaks down, where your questions don't make sense, and rebuilding your understanding from the ground up. Physics is full of moments exactly like this mirror situation. Questions that seem perfectly reasonable but are actually broken. Mysteries that seem deep but dissolve completely once you ask the right question. People spent centuries asking why objects slow down when you stop pushing them. Seemed obvious. Everything stops eventually. Must be the natural state of things, but the question was broken. Objects don't slow down because that's their nature. They slow down because friction is pushing against them. Remove the friction and they coast forever. Newton saw that. He asked a different question and got a different universe. People asked why the earth doesn't fall down. Broken question. Down is toward earth. The earth can't fall toward itself. People asked why light slows down when it enters glass. It doesn't slow down. Not really. The wave pattern changes because light interacts with atoms in the material. Wrong question, wrong picture, wrong intuition. The universe doesn't owe you explanations that feel comfortable. It doesn't arrange itself to match patterns your brain developed on the African savannah for throwing rocks and avoiding predators. Your intuition evolved for survival. It did not evolve for truth, and those are very different things. Real understanding requires something uncomfortable. It requires you to notice when your questions don't make sense. It requires you to doubt the obvious, examine the assumptions, tear apart the things everybody knows until you find the crack in the foundation. Most people don't want to do this. It's easier to accept confusion as mystery, to shrug and say, that's just how it is. But that's not understanding. That's surrender. The mirror question fooled everyone because everyone trusted their intuition. They felt the wrongness of left-right reversal without up-down reversal and assumed the wrongness was in the mirror. It never occurred to them that the wrongness was in their own framing. To see the truth, You have to be willing to question not just the answers, but the questions themselves. That's hard, that's uncomfortable, and that's the only path to actually understanding anything. You came here with a question. Why do mirrors reverse left and right but not up and down? Now you know the answer. They don't. They never did. The question was broken from the start, generated by your brain, misinterpreting a reflection as a rotation. There's no mystery in the mirror. The mystery was in your own cognition, and now it's gone. But let me leave you with something better than the puzzle you walked in with. You want to be amazed by mirrors? Here's what should actually blow your mind. Light is leaving your face right now. Electromagnetic radiation, waves oscillating billions of times per second, carrying information about every contour, every pore, every tiny detail of your features. That light travels outward, crosses the space between you and the mirror, hits a thin layer of metal atoms coating the back of a piece of glass, and bounces back. Angle in equals angle out. Simple, elegant. And those reflected waves travel back to your eyes, enter your pupils, hit your retinas, and form a perfect image. Every detail preserved, every spatial relationship maintained, just front and back swapped exactly as the geometry demands. That's not a trick. That's not a mystery to be frustrated by. That's electromagnetic waves obeying simple laws with absolute precision, carrying information across space, creating an image indistinguishable from reality. You're looking at the fundamental forces of the universe doing exactly what the equations say they should do, and it works every time, perfectly. The universe operates on rules, mathematical rules, elegant, simple, testable rules. Light reflects at equal angles, charges attract and repel, waves interfere and propagate, and from these simple rules you get mirrors, you get rainbows, you get the entire visible world, you get eyes that can detect it and brains that can understand it. That's not something to dismiss as obvious. That's something to stand in awe of. You just learned something most people will never understand. That moment you felt when the confusion lifted, when the broken question became visible, when everything suddenly made sense, that's what this channel exists for. If you want more of this, if you want to stop being fooled by your own intuitions and start seeing how reality actually works, subscribe to Feynman Physics. Hit the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Every subscription matters, not because of algorithms, not because of sponsors, because every subscription helps keep this channel alive. It tells me there are people out there who want the truth more than they want comfort, who are willing to think harder to see deeper. That's who I make these videos for, people like you. I'll see you in the next one.